Let me talk about handwriting for a little bit, because I was reading in the internet news a little while ago that Gen Z, younger people, aren't so good at handwriting these days. Like, we used to be good at handwriting and not so much anymore. And they were talking about it like, the death of handwriting is on the horizon, that kind of thing. And you know what? They might be right. Handwriting could be the next thing that's kind of on its way out. I mean, I don't think handwriting would ever go away, so to speak. I do feel like there's always going to be people who will learn handwriting and people who get good at handwriting. I think that would always be a thing. But let's keep it real. Like, when was the last time you actually wrote something down using your hands, right? I mean, these days we type notes on our phone, we type stuff on our computers. We don't really write things down that much anymore. And it's funny because I can remember being a kid in school, in primary school, and they used to make us write with pencils in the beginning because, nobody's good at it. And they only gave you a pen if you can write well without making mistakes. Because of course, with a pencil, you can rub out your mistakes. With a pen, you can't do that, right? So they only gave you a pen once you learn to write well without making mistakes. So when you was given a pen, it was a big deal. We saw it as a big deal. Like, yes, I've graduated to the pen. And you know what? I would say my handwriting was pretty good. Probably up until, I want to say 10-ish years ago. Like, if I was to put effort into it, I could probably still write pretty decently now, if I was to put some effort into it. But most time, I'm just scribbling. Like, if I'm writing anything down, it's scribble. Like, I'd understand it, right? But if I was to give it to somebody, they'll probably have no idea what I just wrote, right? Because the truth is, if I'm writing anything down by hand, it's most likely going to be just a quick note that's only for me. I'm not really writing for somebody else to read it. I'm writing a quick note, probably a post-it note that I'm just going to stick somewhere. I know what it means. I know what I'm supposed to do, and it's all good. But actually writing with the intention of it being read by other people, I haven't done that for who knows how long at this point. And I'm pretty sure most of us haven't, right? So yeah, it seems like an inevitable thing that handwriting is kind of on its way out. And I don't think that's a bad thing. It's just the nature of how these things go. If you think like 200-300 years ago where you had to write letters, and not only do you have to write letters, when you wrote a letter, it might take weeks or even months for that letter to arrive at the destination you're sending it to. So you had to write neatly and detailed, right? You might be sending a 5, 6, 7-page handwritten letter, and it had to explain everything you're trying to explain in as clear detail as possible. Fast forward to now, and we just don't do that. So yeah, it just seems like an inevitability. It's kind of like hunting. Hunting is a skill that was very important in the caveman times or whatever, right? But now it's just not a skill that you need. But there are still hunters, right? There are still people who go out and they hunt because it's something that they want to learn and they want to learn to do. So I feel like handwriting is going in that similar direction. There's going to be people who learn how to write with their hand and they're going to learn how to do it well. But the vast majority of people probably just won't, right? So yeah, handwriting is probably the next thing, or amongst the next things, human skills that have served us very well for a very long time, but it's perhaps time that it takes a rest. Takes a little nap. It's earned its nap. It's earned its rest. I don't think it's going to go away, but it's earned its rest. Handwriting has served us well for a long time, but I guess we're in a point in our human history that it's just not needed as much as it was. So yeah, that doesn't mean you mustn't learn how to handwrite. I do think at this particular moment in time, there are still use cases for handwriting. There's probably not as many use cases for neat handwriting right now. But we still have a use for it at the moment. But yeah, we could see a future where the up and coming generations, like the people who are, the people who are, let's say, 1 or 2 years old now, or the people who are going to be born in the next few years, by the time they get to their adult years, handwriting is just a thing you just don't do. We could see that. But hey, it is what it is, man. It is what it is.